Maybe.
We are live.
We are live.
And I am ready for Taco Tuesday!
I can't believe Katie left us alone.
First off, I want you to know that I have literally, we had a fiesta themed party and I have like 50 different items. I should have come with a whole
yes. Oh, that would have been amazing.
I even have my empty margarita glass.
That's so sad. I only have a bottle of water. I'm super not.
I have my sparkling water.
There we go. That's fancy. What kind of tacos did you make?
This looks nasty, but it's a beef taco. 2 ounces of beef on this taco, and once we're done, I'll have 2 ounces on my next taco. What did you make?
I like it. We made a little lettuce tacos.
That looks good. I don't know what that. It's like a smorgasbord of deliciousness.
Yeah, I got a little jalapeno popper action, some broccoli tots. You know.
What? Okay. Before we talk about home buying and selling, where do you buy your broccoli tots?
So they're not the fancy ones. They're like just the frozen green. I think it's a Green Giant. Like.
Yeah. But are they good?
Yeah, they're so good. Like we throw them in the air fryer, so they're like super crispy on the outside, and then they're like gooey in the middle. Oh, so good.
Say
no.
Yes. No, I'm down. Like that's.
Oh, okay.
100%. We're there.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, no, we're that's money for me. What did you make?
I like it. We made a little lettuce tacos.
That looks good. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. Oh God. I'm not technologically inclined. I do.
No worries. It was just like a little instant replay, you know.
Everything's
no worries. Everything's fine. Good. Oh man. So, how's your week been so far?
It has been busy. Let me tell you, the market, just when I thought it was like kind of trickling and slowing down, like middle of January, it is crazy. Like I think I said this, I think this weekend, like if you don't own a home, like why are you not thinking about buying? And if you own a home, why are you not thinking about capitalizing on that in the equity and then buying a bigger home? It's just like insane how many people I've talked to recently that are just like, I have more equity in my home than I ever thought was possible. I'm going to get to buy a home that's $200,000 more, pay off a ton of debt. And whoa, there she is.
She couldn't wait to join the party.
I was feeling FOMO. Dash.
Yeah. Katie, did you get to go cause tacos or anything?
No, I had no time. I was showing a house minutes ago.
Man.
The Houston market is literally bananas.
BANANAS.
We are living in a Gwen Stefani-less world, y'all.
Anyways.
Yes. Yeah. So you have been super busy this week, Paige, you said. You started slowing down and then you got bombarded.
Yes, it's been awesomely busy. Just craziness. What about you guys? How's your week been?
It's Tuesday. It feels like Friday.
I was going to say Thursday, but you know, like, because it doesn't have like that Friday feel to it yet, but it definitely feels like it's been a long week already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
We've been busy as well. I would agree with that thought.
Yes.
I mean, I guess one thing that you've been super busy with, Paige, is curating a new Instagram. Do you want to talk about that?
Oh, yes. So I have branched out for the people that have been following us the last few times, and I have created a new mortgage-only Instagram handle, H-Town Mortgage Chick. and I feel good about it. It's good. Trying to keep it fresh, but also knowledgeable about the mortgage process. As boring as it can be, it's also super important, and it is exciting. Buying a home isn't boring.
No, it's huge, and it can be fun.
Yeah.
We have a closing tomorrow, you and I do.
I know. I'm so excited.
I'm muted because I'm driving and there's a metro train driving next to me right now, honking its horn. So carry on.
Yeah. So Paige, are you thinking, you thought it was going to slow down a little bit in January, right? But are you thinking it's just going to get crazier from here on out?
I truly believe that. And I'm always, obviously, the analyst, they're analysts and they're paid big bucks because they know what they're talking about. But I'm always kind of skeptical of believing them a little bit, almost just because of sheer like, what's going to happen. Every market is different, so on and so forth. And I think Katie and I talked about this last week. We're up 71% year over year for leads, locks, and applications. So it's crazy right now, which is great. And because the rates are so low still, and so we're still seeing a ton of people being able to capitalize on, again, like we keep saying, buying a more expensive home for what you're paying for your cheaper house. So, or like I talked to, I think it was Andrea's client, or maybe it was Mike's. I talked to them yesterday, and their payment for a house that they didn't think that they could afford is going to be cheaper than the rent that they're paying for their 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment.
Yes, I was just talking to someone today about that, and he was on the fence, and he was just like super unsure about buying. And I asked him what his rent was, and I was like, easily could buy a home, and your monthly payment's way less than that.
100%.
Yeah, I just like anybody that's renting still, I want to just like beg them to at least just kind of like reach out, like ask the questions, like talk, and yeah, it's
for sure. Yes, 100%. Just have the conversation, because the worst thing that you do is that you've wasted 5 minutes of your time, but at least you're knowledgeable and now can make an educated decision and determination of your future. Because ultimately that's what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And like a lot of people that I've been talking to lately, they're not quite ready yet in the next couple of months. But I have a lot of people that are like, like maybe after like 6 months, like closer to when my lease is coming up. And that's fine too. Like, we want them to reach out and have those conversations early. I think we've talked about that before. That way we can kind of, go over everything and go over their finances and go over the process with them and get them on a plan and ready to go. So it doesn't have to be right now. It has, it just has to be in the future, like be thinking about it.
100%. It's just have the conversation now. And then Katie, I've seen that you've posted a couple of tips. I see that you're doing like top 10 tips, but how to buy a home in this crazy market if you own a home. And I think a couple of them have been like, consider new construction, consider buying a lot. And I just think that that's brilliant that you're like providing this value tool, if you will, because I've talked to a lot of people, they're scared to. I literally talked to somebody before this call, and he was like, I'm terrified to put my house on the market and not have a place to go. And I'm like, well, let's talk through that. And I literally was like spitting your tips, and I was like, well, let's consider this. Let's talk about this. Let's do that. Because it's super, people are nervous.
Yeah. No, and I think that's something that like, obviously the market is so busy right now, and like we all focus on that, but I think that like that also impacts consumer confidence, right? Like the market is hot, homes are flying off the shelves, multiple offers, which is all great. But like, okay, if I'm going to sell my home and buy another one, will there be one available? So I think that that's something, that people aren't talking enough about, and kind of the negotiation tactics, where we find inventory and things like that. So I mean, I think that should be kind of some of our focus today.
Yeah.
And talking about like just some of the, you know, tips and tricks and things like that. And I think initially what a lot of people don't break down is like inventory in Houston. As you increase in price point, there's fewer buyers, right? So like 250 and less, lots of buyers. 250 to 300, like slightly less as you go up every probably 50 to 100K.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, if you're going to shop for a $500,000 house, it's a different market. It's still busy, but it's a different market than a $250,000 market.
100%. Yeah, and even if you go up even higher than that, I mean, obviously, that also depends on where you're looking, right? But if you go up even higher than that, let's just say 600, there's even fewer, and then 1 million, there's even fewer. So it's just like every bracket you jump up, and obviously 600 to 1 million, there's a huge difference in bracket. But every bracket that you're not just buying, hey, buy $600,000 home, boom, you're buying $1 million house. Forget 600, we're going to 1 million. But there is just fewer and fewer buyers, which is nice. Which having a low interest rate obviously helps you qualify for more.
Well, and yeah, so do you want to touch a little bit on like people's purchasing power in 2019 versus 2021?
Oh, 100%. So people that were qualifying for, and I don't have the actual like numbers and data, I can drop that in the comments after, but people that were purchasing $200,000 homes in 2019 at a 4.25% interest rate, which was amazing in the middle of 2019, are now able to turn around and buy a $400,000 home with a 2.75 to 2.8% interest rate, and their payment stays the exact same. And that's insane. That is bananas.
Bananas.
So
is bananas going to be your like buzzword for the evening?
For the evening, yes. I saw a meme and it said, I was in the grocery store today and a child said, "Mom, this is bananas." And the mom busted out singing BANANAS, and the kid didn't know what she was talking about. And it was, we're living in a Gwen Stefani-less world. Well, I've been saying bananas about everything. I'm like, wait, don't die. Yes, everything is going to be bananas tonight. But yeah, I mean, back to what you're saying, it circling back on that, the pin and what we just talked about, but it's insane, people's purchasing power. And then also what Nikki and I were just talking about people being able to, I got a guy right now, has a $300,000 home, has about $100,000 in equity that he didn't have in 2018 whenever he bought. And now he has all this money. Well, he's like, I'm going to pay off all of my debt. I can go in and buy this $550,000 home, put 5 or 10% down, and I'm actually going to be saving $1,000 a month. Like I'm jumping up $250,000 in price point, and I'm actually going to save money every month on my bills and expenses.
Crazy.
Just capitalizing on that equity and also just capitalizing on the ability to save money. Just, it's awesome.
It is. It's mind blowing.
I'm trying.
It's bananas.
Not to say it. I was trying so hard.
I'm like 4 blocks from my house right now.
Katie, you missed this.
But the road, I'm not looking at the screen because anytime I've ever done a live and I do it in the car and I'm driving, like people get mad at me when I look at the screen. So I'm looking at the road. The camera's over here. So like, you know.
Safety first.
She is driving safely, everyone.
That's right.
So yeah, that's why I'm muted. That's why I'm just staring at. I really felt left out when I hopped on Facebook and saw you guys on Facebook and I wasn't there, and like I felt left out, so that's why I joined. I just wanted to feel like I was part of the group. What's funny too about the bananas thing is like, so we coach with Tom Ferry Coaching, and Tom Ferry always uses bananas and like Banana Street. So like, you know, he'd be like, oh, it's 123 Banana Street or Banana Real Estate. He uses a lot. So when you said that it was bananas, it kind of made me laugh because like that's a common phrase in the Tom Ferry world.
Of course. I think today, did you talk about HELOCs? Or was that
yeah.
Bridge loans, I think. Well, yeah. So like, I think like, I'm almost home, so I want to get like more tactical on this and like talk about some like, you know, actual things. I look like demonic with this red.
Oh, you have a red glow.
Because the car in front of me has on their brake lights. But anyways, but like, I think though the purchasing power is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And I've had clients, you know, like you guys just said, that were like, oh, I'm renting now, or, you know, I'm looking to buy, or whatever it may be. And they didn't realize how much purchasing power they actually have right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that I think is my number one, is like at least reaching out to a mortgage professional to understand what $400,000 looks like on a monthly basis, what $300,000 looks like on a monthly basis, what $1 million looks like on a monthly basis. Because I think you would be surprised if it's been a while since you've purchased your home.
Or if you've never looked at buying and you've always heard the myth that it's cheaper to rent. It would just be good to have a conversation. We're always talking to clients that are looking 6 to 12 months down the road. And it might not even be that they need credit repair or they need a game plan in place. They just want to make sure that when the time comes and their lease is up, that they're prepared mentally, and also that they know the numbers that they're looking at, so then they can go out and be educated buyers when they are ready to buy, which puts them in a whole different class of buyers. I mean, if you're educated before you start the process and you know what and you know what's going on and you know what's happening. Sorry, I got a little distracted watching Katie back up there. So
good reverse.
Yeah. But if you know what you're walking into, even 90 to 120 days before you're ready to start shopping, you can look at things from a more educated perspective, and you know realistically what you're looking at, because my realistic versus my dream world is like $500,000 difference.
Exactly. And I mean, we see that so often when people are coming into open houses and we get to meet them, and, you know, we start talking a little bit and we ask them about pre-approvals and have they talked to a lender? Do they have someone working with them? And, you know, so many times they don't. And so there's so many questions, you know, that are left unanswered for them, and they're doing the fun part of looking at the homes, but there's, you know, there's so much more information that they could be getting to kind of start their search and start off on the right foot.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, because starting off on the right foot, honestly, I feel like that's half of the battle. And then if you know what you're going into as an educated buyer, then you're prepared to buy. And so if you're having that conversation 6 to 12 months out, or right now, it's hard to get, it might be harder to get seller contribution, or you might win an offer by not asking for it.
I just had a freaking light bulb moment of gold. I'm writing this down. So here's this. We always tell people they should talk to a lender early so that they've had the conversation and they know what they can afford and if there's things they need to do for their credit. But right now, for a seller, a lot of sellers need a long lease back so that they can then find their next place, right? So I'm a buyer, I'm looking, and my lease is up in 60 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say the seller of the house that I want needs a 3-month lease back. I wouldn't be able to do that if my lease was just up.
Correct.
If you start looking sooner, you could almost get into a home and give a seller what they want as far as a lease back.
And then you get what you want in turn.
How did I not think about this sooner?
Bananas.
Get everyone started early.
Everybody start early. And we'll just, oh, you're muted. Oh, okay. Cool.
I'm closing the garage because you can hear cars on the street. So I'm staying in the garage for this, in case y'all didn't know, because I have Ryan's inside, the dog's inside. So
it's chaos.
But yeah, I mean, I think that it could be a really good move if you're looking earlier, you're going to have more flexibility with your close date. And it may not be like if you could get into your dream home now, or, buy your dream home today, but then, you had to provide the seller a 60-day lease back so they could find their next home.
Mm-hmm.
Would that be something that would work for you?
100%.
Love it.
And the reality is, you also provide yourself the opportunity to leverage that. Like, hey, I'm giving you what you want. You, in return, can you help me with XYZ? Can you professionally clean the home? Can you give me closing costs? Can you do this? Can you do that? And so it's all about leverage. Your entire life is about leverage. and what you know and how you know it. But buying and selling a home is even more about leverage and how you capitalize on the leverage that is available for you in the market that you're around.
100%.
That was the smartest thing I've said all month.
Certainly better than bananas.
Oh, proud of me, Mom.
So yeah, talking about some of the tips that I posted on Instagram, the one I think that I did today, let me actually see. The one that I did today, I think was on.
I thought it was on HELOCs today.
That's what I thought too.
No,
I think the bridge loan is super smart. So if you guys don't know what a bridge loan is, the viewers out there, if you don't know what a bridge loan is, it gives you the ability to bridge into your next home with the equity from your current address. So if you live at 123 Banana Street and you're buying 126 Banana Street.
It's a great neighborhood.
Yeah, it's a great neighborhood to live in, by the way. But one's lakefront and the other one's not. Or maybe you're moving down the road and you're moving from the Woodlands to the Heights. But let's say you have $200,000 of equity in your home in the Woodlands, but you obviously it's there, and you've got 2 kids and a dog, and it's hard to sell with 2 kids and a dog. And so you want to move to the Heights, where you can pull that money out from the $200,000 and bridge yourself to the next house, and then close simultaneously on the bridge and the purchase. And then after you close on the purchase, sell your home, pay back the bridge loan, and make whatever additional equity you have. It was a super popular thing back in the 90s and early 2000s. And if you talk to a lot of people who have bought homes in that generation, they're very familiar with what a bridge loan is. But if you talk to people who are maybe 35 and younger, they aren't familiar with it. But it is such a smart thing for someone to do that has the leverage that can leverage that. I'm just going to keep using leverage that can leverage their capital like that and move the money. Bridge loans are smart. And if you need a recommendation for a bridge loan, I'm happy to hook anybody up that needs one. We work with a great bank that does them.
Yeah, and then the other thing that we were talking about, I may have posted it today. I'm not sure. I think I posted 4 tips. I don't want to give away all my tips. That's why I'm like, I'm going to give them away on Instagram, but I don't want to give them away too soon. But the other one is the HELOC, so the home equity line of credit. And I think that whether you're planning on moving out of your home, whether you're planning on staying in your home, it could be a good way to leverage some of the equity in your home to do either projects or to pay for a down payment or to do things with that. Paige, what's your professional opinion on HELOCs?
I think they're great, actually. We refer, I wouldn't use the term a lot of people, but we refer quite a few people to some local banks for HELOCs, because in the term of a HELOC, it's a revolving line of credit. So you can pay it off and take it back, pay it off and take it back, pay it off, and it moves like that. Whereas a cash out refinance is, you pull that money out and that's it. You pay it back, but you don't get the opportunity to keep pulling it back. So you do pay a little bit of a higher interest rate, but it's definitely worth it in some situations to do a HELOC and just to have that extra capital. I mean, like you said, fix up your house, use it for a down payment, whatever. It's a super flexible way to utilize the equity that you've got in your home and not tie it up and not mess with your liquid. I'm talking to a lot of people and they don't want to touch that liquid money that they've got, and I don't blame them. I don't want to either. So it's like leveraging what you have available to make it work for you.
Yeah, for sure. Because in a perfect world, you would sell your home and then, simultaneously close on the other one. But what are some other thoughts on things that people could do if they are trying to sell their home to make top dollar today, but are nervous about buying?
Nikki? Are you saying me?
Yeah.
We're all just staring at each other. I think
you're saying, what are some tips for somebody who wants to get top dollar to be able to buy and sell at the same time?
Well, I think that obviously people want to cash in on the seller's market that we're in today, right? But then it's okay, well, shit, where would I go? So we've had some clients that have actually signed a lease before they put their home on the market and moved out of their house so that they didn't have to deal with people in their home during COVID. They're somewhere else. And then that gives them breathing room to find their next place.
One thing that a lot of people don't think about, lease is a great idea, but Airbnb does a monthly option and it's fully furnished. And it's you literally can do month to month. So you put all your stuff in storage. Obviously, if that's something that you're down for, you put all your stuff in storage, you do a monthly Airbnb option, and you've got that option for, let's just say 60 days, and you're not stuck in a long-term lease. And it's a little bit cheaper in some cases, obviously, depending on what you're looking at. It could be more expensive, but in some cases it is cheaper. But it allows you that flexibility. Like you're saying, a lot of people don't want to interact with people in the midst of COVID. And I can't say that I don't blame them at all. So, so it's another good way to leverage that, the ability to spend a little bit of extra cash up front to know that you are capitalizing on more money in the long run. You might be spending an extra $5K up front, but you're able to put, like, you have how much more equity than you did 12 months ago.
Well, and I think the biggest thing is too, it makes more sense to sell your current home, do what you need to do, and then buy the other one, as opposed to, being desperate to buy and then once you're under contract, then trying to sell your home. Like, you're never going to get top dollar when you're in that case, right?
Yeah.
You're in that situation. Like, if you sell your home and do all of the right things on the front end, and then, figure out something in order to give yourself more time on the buy side, like, you'll be able to make a more educated decision. You'll be able to take your time a little bit more, and not, kind of dive in to
rush.
Yeah.
We also have a lot of people that are, even depending on the price point that they're in, they're finding a home that they want in like the $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 price point, doing a 60-day contract, and then listing their house. Because their home is $250,000 and it's going to go immediately, and the seller or the person selling it knows that because their realtors advise them, and so it puts them in a better position to find a home, list their house, and not have to worry about the stress.
So the only thing that I would say in that case is, like, are you guys getting all that feedback too, or is that just me?
Yeah,
I'm not.
I'm hearing it.
Paige, mute yourself real quick. Can you guys hear a lot of feedback now?
Hold on. Okay, yeah. It's from Pages, I think.
Paige, it's you. No, so what I was gonna say on that is, like, I think that's a great idea, but, like, if you have to sell your home to buy another one, being under contract on a home with a 60-day close, like, puts a lot of stress and risk into the situation. So that's the only, like, caveat or asterisk that I would put on that, is that, like, and as a listing agent, like, 85% of my business is listings. I would never advise a seller to accept an offer until that other home is under contract.
Well, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just telling you what we're saying. Like, I agree with you 100%. Whatever they want to do, but it's been on a couple of homes that people are buying that are 600 to $1 million, and they're doing 60-day contracts. It's actually 600 to like 1.5. They're doing these 60-day contracts, which 60 days is a little bit more normal in the 1 million and above, but they're putting their $200,000 house in the market, and the glow up.
That's a very large glow up.
It has been impressive, honestly. I'm like, dang, that's me up.
Good for you. Good for you. Yeah, I mean, I think another thing too, I think, is the lease back, right? So if you're selling your home, say it is a $250,000 home, like, I think that you're in a good position to be able to lease back after you close. So basically what a lease back is, we close today, and then me as the seller, I'm allowed to stay in the home. So Nikki owns it, right? I sold it to her as the buyer. Nikki now owns it, and I lease it for anywhere up to 90 days, right? So 90 days or less. So that's something that can give a seller a little bit more breathing room, once they've closed, to find their next home, or even just for the proceeds to clear. So we've had a lot of leasebacks where it's like a week or 2 weeks, so that we close, I get my cash out, and then I can use that as my down payment for my next home, as opposed to trying to do everything in one day. So I can clear my cash, take it in the briefcase, the other title company, no, I'm kidding, but clear the cash and you know, get my movers and get all of that straightened out and then move to the next house.
Yes. Buying and selling on the same day. I've never done it. Hashtag stress. Leverage yourself. Leverage. Utilize Katie's tips and tricks to leverage yourself so you don't have to be stressed.
Leverage your bananas.
All the bananas, yeah.
All the bananas.
I mean, Katie, I think you also, another point is you also hit on earlier was the new construction route. And we've been kind of pointing, you were just about, okay. Yeah, we've been pointing buyers, you know, even in the resale market because of low inventory to check out new construction too. So why not for sellers to be checking out the new construction? You know, if it's a couple months out from being completed, it also gives them some time to put their house on the market and sell it prior to having to purchase their next home.
Yeah, for sure. And I think one of the things too is like for new construction, like most communities, most builders aren't putting every single home that they have available into the MLS, right? So that's where, you know, our relationships with builders, you know, sometimes there's other inventory. Sometimes there's homes that they're building that they're called inventory homes. So sometimes they're building homes that are going to be like kind of stock homes. So like those are options to be able to get into something sooner too, right? So like north, you know, anywhere between 4 to 6 or 8 months, depending on the type of home. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely a possibility as well. So I think new construction has a lot of options, right? Like whether that's a longer build time or, you know, that there's options out there that are hidden. Cool. Good deal. Yeah. And then I think along the same lines is like a longer time period. Like, again, like if you don't need to sell in order to buy, one thing that you could do is like buy land, right? And like build on land. That could be an option as well.
Paige, have y'all been doing any land loans?
So yeah.
So Movement actually doesn't do land loans, but we have a great person that we refer out to. We have, I wouldn't say a ton, not any more than normal. No. Yeah.
Perfect. But y'all have an option, so that's good.
Yes, and we have a couple of different people depending on like what you're looking for. If it's acreage or if it's just a, you know, a lot, or you're doing a tear down or whatever that looks like, we definitely have a couple of different people that we work with.
Yeah, I feel like most of the land loans that I've seen have been like normally a 3 to 5 year loan.
Yeah,
so
they're typically like 3 to 5 year. Yes, 3 to 5 year. 25 to 40% down, depending on what you're doing. Sometimes a little bit less, but yeah. But if you're thinking about it, people are like, God, 25 to 40% down. But you have to think about how much a lot is versus the whole house and the lot and the pool and all the extra stuff. So people, when I tell them 25 to 40%, they're like, hey, what? No, of my $600,000 house? I'm like, no, of the lot, just the lot, just the raw land. That's what that is. And then most of the time, you can use that equity that you have in the lot at the time of closing on your permanent side into and utilize that as the equity. I actually used to do a ton of one-time closes, so I'm very familiar with that entire process. But yeah, so it's you just take that equity and you just roll it on into the purchase, and it's based off the equity that you have whenever you finance the final closing. So, or if you do a one-time close, whenever you do the one-time close financing.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, there is land out there, right? So.
Oh yes, 100%. Yes.
Depends on where you want to be, but
yeah,
there is land out there. Cool. So yeah, bridge loans, HELOC, leasebacks, Airbnb, rentals, new construction.
Smorgasbord of opportunity.
Yeah,
there's options out there.
Yeah, so I mean, and I think that's like kind of the moral of the story is like if you're thinking about cashing in on the seller's market, if you're thinking about trying to get the maximum amount of proceeds possible today, you know, there are options out there. So, you know, don't believe everything you read or see online, right? As far as like it's a hot market, it is. It's not necessarily a hot market in all price points and neighborhoods too, right? Yeah. Some are more saturated than others. So, you know, having these conversations to at least even see what's going on out there is important, so that you can kind of understand and stay up to date to make an informed decision.
Yeah. And like, if I can preach to anybody, it's like working with a connected realtor and working with a good realtor is like the most important thing right now. It's great to get a great interest rate. It's great to get all that good stuff. But if you're not working with someone who can maximize your equity and then also maximize, basically your purchasing power, it's the great interest rate is for naught. Like that's a moot point at that point. If you can't find someone and you're not working with it may be even, like if you're not working with a team, but if you're just not working with someone who's knowledgeable, like having a knowledgeable agent is like key right now. And y'all are
for sure. Good. Do you know any?
I know like zero. There's like one, maybe it's two.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. Speaking of, I don't know how to segue into this. Did you guys see the Zillow commercial?
Oh.
Okay, you guys, if you haven't seen it,
oh wait, yes.
On my Instagram.
I have seen it. It's on like normal cable TV.
It was on SNL. It wasn't a commercial. It was on SNL.
Oh, Kelly and Allison did send that to me. Speaking of, hello, Allison. Yeah. So yes, no, they sent that to me. I need to watch that skit. Is it funny?
It was basically equating like Zillow to like a late night phone operator. So it was like a trashy commercial. So it's so funny. It was just like, feeling uninspired and blah blah blah. Like Zillow. So it's really funny. It was like
Where is the lie? Where is the lie?
But yeah, it was just like, are you bored at home? Like finding yourself browsing home listings. Cool. So yeah, I think that summarizes most of the points. I am doing 10 days of home tips on if you are thinking about cashing out on your home, but where do you want to buy? How do you want to buy? You're not sure. I'm on day 4. I think I have 6 more days left. I believe that's.
I literally cannot wait to see. All of them have been great. Like all of them have been 10 out of 10, 5 stars. Would recommend.
Well, and I kind of had a plan for 10, but now I'm thinking of a few other ideas. So I might do some bonus tips. We'll see.
Bonus tips.
I might also run out of steam, so I'll keep you posted on that.
Put a pin in that.
Okay. So next Tuesday, let me actually pull up my calendar here before I commit to this. So the entire idea of this show was going to be Taco Tuesday, and clearly 2 of the 3 of us were eating tacos. But the plan was to like host
Mine looks like a sad little salad right now. But
yeah, that's gross. So the plan was to like host it and eat tacos and basically like us all bring different tacos and have like a cute little Taco Tuesday. So next Tuesday, so 2 weeks.
The next
we will do this.
The 23rd.
Maybe not my house, but we will do this in 2 weeks on Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Central, and we will be eating tacos together in some shape or form.
It's on my calendar. And if it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist.
All right. Cool, guys.
Cool.
Well, thank you all.
I'm sure I'll talk to you before then, hopefully. Maybe not.
We'll see you then.
I apologize for my poor time management this evening. And we'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
Yeah. Have a good rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye.